I was 28 years old when I became my parents' landlord. But the story really starts when I was 14. We were fighting about something stupid. I don't even remember what now. Maybe I wanted to go to a friend's house and she said no. Maybe I'd gotten a bad grade on a test. Maybe I'd forgotten to do a chore. It was the kind of fight every teenager has with their parents. Nothing serious. Nothing that should have mattered. But then Mom lost her temper. We were in the kitchen. I was standing by the refrigerator. Dad was at the table reading the newspaper. My brother Jake was upstairs, lucky him, avoiding the whole thing. "You know what?" Mom said, her voice sharp. Angry. "This is why we could never love you the same way. You're adopted. You're not really ours. And deep down, you'll never really be part of this family." The kitchen went silent. The refrigerator hummed. A car passed outside. But inside that room, everything stopped. I looked at Dad. Waiting. Waiting for him to say something. To tell her she was wrong. To defend me. He looked away. Just turned his eyes back to his newspaper. Said nothing. And that's when I knew. She meant it. And he agreed. I'd known I was adopted since I was little. They'd told me when I was 5 or 6. Sat me down, said I was special, chosen, loved. That it didn't matter that I didn't come from Mom's body. That I was theirs. That I was loved just the same as any biological child would be. It had been a lie. All of it. Those words, "That's why we could never love you the same way." They stayed with me. I couldn't unhear them. Couldn't forget them. Couldn't pretend they hadn't been said. I went to my room, closed the door, sat on my bed, and I started noticing things I'd spent years not noticing. Jake's birthday gifts were always bigger, more expensive. I got generic presents, clothes, practical things. Christmas stockings, Jake's overflowing. Mine lighter, smaller. Jake made honor roll, dinner, celebration, Facebook posts. I made honor roll every semester. Good job, and moving on. Jake scored a goal. Dad recorded it, uploaded it, showed everyone. I won a writing competition. They missed the awards ceremony. Had to work late. I'd always noticed, made excuses. Told myself they loved us the same, just differently. But now I knew the truth. They'd said it out loud. The next 4 years were hard. I counted down the days until I could leave. Until I could go to college. Until I could start building a life that had nothing to do with them. Every birthday after that moment, I noticed. Jake's gifts. Expensive headphones, new laptop, designer clothes. My gifts, a sweater, some books, a gift card to a restaurant. Every holiday, I noticed. Jake got what he wanted. I got what was left over. Every achievement, I noticed. Jake's accomplishments were celebrated, photographed, broadcast. Mine were acknowledged with a nod and moved past. But I never said anything. Never brought up what Mom had said. Never asked Dad why he didn't defend me. I just remembered. And waited. At 18, I left for college, 3 hours away. Far enough to breathe? I applied for every scholarship I could find, worked 2 jobs, paid my own tuition, my own books, my own housing. Mom and Dad helped Jake with his tuition, paid it in full, covered his apartment, sent him spending money. I asked once, freshman year, if they could help with my tuition, even just a little. "We're stretched thin right now," Dad said. "Jake's school is expensive. You understand." I understood perfectly. I graduated at 22, moved across the state, got a job in tech, started at the bottom, worked my way up. Jake graduated the same year, came home, started a business with money from Mom and Dad, some investment thing, cryptocurrency. I didn't understand it. Neither did they. But they believed in him. The business failed within a year. All the money gone. They never asked for it back. Never mentioned it again. I asked once how much they'd invested. Out of curiosity. "About $150,000, Mom said casually. But that's what parents do. They support their children's dreams. I'd paid $60,000 in student loans. They'd given him $150,000 for a failed business. But I didn't say anything. Just filed it away with everything else. Over the next few years, I worked, saved, invested, lived below my means, climbed the corporate ladder, made smart decisions. By 25, I had a six-figure salary. By 27, I'd paid off all my debt. By 28, I had real money in the bank, investments, stocks, retirement accounts. I'd built it myself. Every dollar, every opportunity. No help, no support, just me. Contact with my parents had dwindled to holidays and occasional phone calls. Surface-level conversations. How's work? How's the weather? Everyone staying healthy? We never talked about anything real. Never addressed the distance. Never acknowledged the past. And then one night, scrolling through real estate listings, something I did sometimes, just dreaming about buying property, I saw it. The address was familiar. Very familiar. It was the house my parents were renting. I sat up. Read it again. 3 years earlier, they'd sold our childhood home. The house I grew up in. 4 bedrooms, big backyard, quiet neighborhood. They'd sold it to fund Jake's second business venture. Some consulting thing. That had also failed. After that, they'd downsized. Started renting a smaller house across town. 2 bedrooms. No yard. Nothing special. And now that house, the one they were renting, was for sale. Owner retiring. Motivated seller. Price to move. I clicked through the photos. Recognized the layout. The kitchen where they made dinner. The living room where they watched TV. The small bedroom that was probably their office now. This was where they lived. Where they paid rent every month. To someone else. I stared at the listing. Then I picked up my phone and called my financial advisor. I want to make an offer on a property, I said. We ran the numbers. I could afford it easily. Cash purchase. No mortgage needed. It's a good investment, she said. Rental properties in that area have strong returns. You could keep the current tenants and generate steady income. That's the plan, I said. I didn't tell her the current tenants were my parents. I made an offer the next morning. Full asking price. Cash. Close in 2 weeks. The seller accepted immediately. I hired a property management company, gave them explicit instructions, maintain current lease terms, same rent, same everything, no changes, handle all communication, send me monthly reports, keep me anonymous. You don't want to contact the tenants directly? The property manager asked. No, keep everything professional and distant. They don't need to know who owns the property. Understood. The sale closed on a Tuesday. I signed the papers, transferred the money, became a landlord. My parents had no idea. That night, I sat in my apartment and thought about 14-year-old me. Standing in that kitchen, hearing those words, watching Dad look away. You'll never really be part of this family. I'd been part of their family on paper, in their house, at their table, but never in their hearts. Not the way Jake was. And now? Now I owned the roof over their heads. The irony wasn't lost on me. 6 months passed. Everything stayed the same from their perspective. They paid rent to the property management company, received generic, professional communication, had no idea who actually owned the house. I got monthly reports. Rent paid on time. No maintenance issues. Good tenants, according to the property manager. I didn't change anything. Didn't raise the rent. Didn't make demands. Just watched from a distance. It was satisfying in a quiet way. Knowing they were paying me. Knowing I had this power. Knowing they had no idea. But it wasn't enough. I needed them to know. I just had to wait for the right moment. That moment came on a Wednesday evening in October. My phone rang. Mom's name on the screen. I stared at it. We hadn't talked in maybe 3 months. No texts, no calls, nothing. I answered. Hi, Mom. Hi, honey. Her voice was too bright, too cheerful. The way she sounded when she wanted something. How are you? It's been too long. I'm fine. What's up? Well, I was just thinking about you and wanted to check in, see how you're doing, catch up. She never just wanted to catch up. Mom, what do you need? A pause. Then a sigh. Okay, fine. We have a bit of a situation. Our landlord, well, the new landlord, someone bought the house a few months ago. They just raised our rent. Okay? By $400 a month. Can you believe it? We've been good tenants. We pay on time. We take care of the place. And they just hit us with this huge increase. It's so greedy. These investors, they don't care about people. They just want money. I could hear Dad in the background complaining. Rich people who've never struggled a day in their lives. Don't care who they hurt. The irony was stunning. That's tough, I said, keeping my voice neutral. It is. We're trying to figure out what to do. We've been looking at other places, but everything is so expensive now. And moving is such a hassle at our age. So we were wondering. Her voice got careful, tentative. Could you maybe help us out? Just for a few months? Just until we find something else or figure out our options? Maybe a few hundred a month? We wouldn't ask if we weren't desperate. There it was. They wanted money. From me. The one they loved less. The one who wasn't really family. I closed my eyes. Took a breath. This was it. The moment I'd been waiting for. Actually, Mom, I said calmly, I don't think I can help with that. What? Why not? You have a good job, don't you? You're doing well? I am doing well, but I have my own expenses. You know how it is. What expenses? You live alone. You don't have kids? You can't spare a few $100s to help your parents? I have a lot of expenses. Being a landlord isn't cheap, for example. Silence. What? I'm your landlord, Mom. I'm the one who bought the house. 6 months ago. The $400 rent increase? That's me. And actually, it's market rate. Below market, to be honest. I could be charging you $600 more for that neighborhood. More silence. I could hear her breathing. You bought our house? Yep. Have been the owner since March. Why didn't you tell us? I smiled, even though she couldn't see it. You never asked, I said simply. Just like you never asked how I was doing all those years after you told me you loved me less because I was adopted. I could hear her breath catch. I didn't mean, you meant it, Mom. And I heard you. Loud and clear. I've heard you every day for the last 14 years. The silence on the other end of the phone stretched. I could hear Mom breathing, fast, shallow breaths, processing what I'd just said. She started. Her voice was different now, smaller. I was angry that day. I didn't mean it. You know I didn't mean it. You did mean it, Mom. And I heard you loud and clear. No, it was just something I said in the moment. People say things they don't mean when they're upset. Do they? Because I've been upset plenty of times and I've never told someone I love them less because they're adopted. More silence. I don't remember it being that bad, she said quietly. I remember it perfectly, word for word. I was standing by the refrigerator. Dad was at the table with his newspaper. You said, this is why we could never love you the same way. You're adopted. You're not really ours. And deep down, you'll never really be part of this family. And then Dad looked away. Didn't defend me. Didn't correct you. Just looked away. I could hear her crying now. Soft, quiet crying. Part of me, the 14-year-old part that still wanted parents who loved him, felt bad. But the 28-year-old part that had built a life despite them? That part felt nothing. I didn't know you remembered it so clearly, she whispered. I remember everything, Mom. Every birthday where Jake's gifts were bigger. Every Christmas where my stocking was lighter. Every achievement where his celebration was louder and mine was quieter. Every single moment where I was less. We loved you. Differently. I know. You said it yourself. You loved me less. That's not what I said. It's exactly what you said. We could never love you the same way. That means less, Mom. There's no other interpretation. Dad's voice came through the phone now. Louder, closer. He must have taken it from her. This is ridiculous, he said. His voice had that edge to it. The one he got when he thought someone was being unreasonable. You're really going to hold a grudge from 14 years ago? You were a kid. Kids misunderstand things. I didn't misunderstand anything, and you know it. You were there. You heard what she said. You could have defended me. You could have told her she was wrong, but you didn't. You just looked away. I don't remember it like that. Of course you don't. That's the problem. You don't remember any of it because it didn't matter to you. I didn't matter to you. Not the way Jake did. That's not true. We raised you. We fed you, clothed you, gave you a home. You did the legal minimum required of parents. Congratulations. You didn't get arrested for neglect. That doesn't make you good parents. That makes you parents who followed the law. You'd really make your own parents pay more rent? After everything we did for you? I laughed. After everything you did for me? You helped Jake pay for college. Paid it in full. I asked for help once and you said you were stretched thin. We couldn't afford both. You gave Jake $150,000 for a business that failed within a year. But you couldn't spare anything for my tuition. I paid $60,000 in student loans. Worked 2 jobs. You gave him $150,000 to invest in cryptocurrency. He's our son. Dad stopped. Realized what he'd said. And I'm not? Is that what you were going to say? Silence. Heavy, awful silence. That's what you think, isn't it? I continued. Jake is your son. I'm just the kid you adopted. The one you did a good deed for. The charity case. That's not... We don't think of you that way. You do. You said it. Just now. He's our son. Present tense. Real. Biological. Yours. And I'm... What? The other one? The adopted one? The one you could never love the same way? Mom's voice came back, tearful. Please. You're twisting everything. I'm not twisting anything. I'm just repeating your words back to you. And you don't like hearing them, do you? You don't like being confronted with what you said? What you did? How you treated me for 18 years? We gave you a home, Dad's voice again. Getting louder, more defensive. We took you in when nobody else wanted you. There it is, I said quietly. That's what you really think. That nobody else wanted me. That I should be grateful you settled for me. That I owe you for the bare minimum of parenting. I didn't mean it like that. Yes, you did. You've always thought it. You just usually don't say it out loud. When was the last time you asked me about my life, my job, anything? Silence. You can't remember. When's my birthday, Dad? More silence. April 12th. What's Jake's birthday? September 3rd. There it is. I could hear Mom crying harder now. Dad was silent. This is who you are, I said. This is who you've always been. And I'm done pretending it doesn't hurt. I'm done making excuses for you. I'm done being less. So you're going to punish us? Dad asked. By charging us more rent? I'm not punishing you. I'm charging you market rate. Below market rate, actually. That neighborhood? Houses like yours? They're renting for $600 to $800 more than what I'm charging you. I'm actually being generous. Generous? Dad's voice was bitter now. You call this generous? Yes. I could charge you what the market will bear. I could raise it even more. But I'm not. I'm charging you fair rent for fair property. That's business. That's how being a landlord works. But we're not just tenants. We're your parents. Are you? Because parents show up. Parents remember birthdays. Parents don't tell their kid they love them less because they're adopted. Parents don't give $150,000 to one kid and nothing to the other. So what kind of parents are you exactly? No answer. You can pay the increase, I continued, or you can move. Those are your options. I'm not negotiating. I'm not discussing it further. This is business. How can you be so cold? Mom asked through her tears. I learned from the best. You were cold to me for 18 years. You just did it with a smile and called it parenting. We did our best. Your best wasn't good enough, and I'm done pretending it was. So that's it? Dad asked. You're just going to turn your back on family? I smiled again. They couldn't see it, but I smiled. Family. Dad, you're renters. I'm the landlord. That's our relationship now. That's what you made it. When you told me I wasn't really yours, when you showed me every day that I was less, you defined our relationship. I'm just enforcing the boundaries you set. This is cruel, Mom said softly. No. Cruel is what you said to a 14-year-old kid who just wanted to belong. Cruel is watching your husband look away while you tell that kid he's not really part of the family. Cruel is 18 years of showing that kid he matters less. This is just business, and honestly, I'm being kinder to you than you ever were to me. We're sorry, Mom said. If that's what you want to hear. We're sorry. Are you? Are you actually sorry? Or are you just sorry that you need money now and I'm the one who has it? Silence. That's what I thought. Please, Mom said, please don't do this. I'm not doing anything to you. I own a property. You rent it. I'm charging fair rent. If you don't want to pay it, you can move. That's capitalism. That's how the world works. You don't get special treatment because we share DNA. Oh wait, we don't even share that, do we? So there's really no reason for special treatment at all. I could hear her sobbing now, properly sobbing. I should have felt guilty. Some part of me knew I should feel guilty, but I didn't. I felt satisfied, vindicated. Like something had finally balanced out after years of being tilted. The rent is due on the 1st of the month, I said. The property management company will send you the updated lease agreement. Sign it and return it within 7 days, or I'll consider it a rejection and we can discuss move-out dates. You can't just kick us out, Dad started. I can if you don't sign the new lease. It's all legal. I checked. You're month to month now that the original lease has expired. I'm offering you a new lease at a new rate. You can accept it or decline it. Your choice. This is business. This is business. Nothing personal. How can you say it's not personal? Dad asked. Because if it were personal, I'd be charging you the actual market rate, which is $800 more than what you're paying now. If it were personal, I'd be making your lives difficult. But I'm not. I'm being a reasonable landlord. You just don't like that you're tenants and I'm the landlord. You don't like the power dynamic. You don't like that for once in our relationship, I'm the one with control. No response. Sign the lease, I said. Or don't. I don't really care which. Either way, I'm fine. What about Jake? Mom asked suddenly. Does he know? What does he think? Jake has nothing to do with this. This is between us. Don't bring him into it. He's going to be so disappointed in you. Let him be disappointed. I've spent my whole life being disappointed in all of you. It's his turn. You're not the person we raised, Dad said. You're right, I'm not. The person you raised would have said yes, would have helped you without question, would have let you walk all over me while I smiled and pretended it didn't hurt. But that person is gone. You killed him when I was 14. What's left is someone who knows his worth. And my worth is more than being your charity case. I took a breath, steadied myself. I'm done with this conversation. Sign the lease or don't. Your choice. Have a good evening. Wait, Mom started. I hung up. Sat there for a moment. Phone in my hand. Heart pounding. Then I smiled. A real smile. Not bitter. Not cold. Satisfied. For the first time in 14 years, I felt like I had power. Like I mattered. Like I wasn't less. My phone buzzed. Text from Mom. Please call us back. We need to talk about this. I deleted it. Blocked the number. Text from Dad. This isn't over. We're still your parents. Deleted. Blocked. I sat back, breathed. On the 1st of the month, the rent came through. Full amount, including the $400 increase. They'd signed the lease. They'd chosen to stay. And every month after that, on the 1st, the money appeared in my account. Every month they paid me. Every month they knew exactly who their landlord was. Every month they remembered. And I was okay with that. More than okay. I was finally free. 3 days after I hung up on my parents, my phone rang again. Jake's name on the screen. I stared at it. Debated letting it go to voicemail. But curiosity won. I answered. What do you want, Jake? Wow. Hello to you too. His voice was tight. Annoyed. Mom called me. She's really upset. Okay. Okay? That's all you have to say? She told me what you did. About the house, about the rent. What the hell, man? I leaned back in my chair. What exactly did she tell you? That you bought their house without telling them. that you're charging them more rent, that you were really cruel to them on the phone. Cruel. That's the word she used? Yeah. She was crying. Dad, too. They're really hurt. I laughed. Cold and bitter. They're hurt. That's interesting. This isn't funny. It's hilarious, actually. They're hurt because I'm charging them fair rent for a property I own. But they weren't hurt when Mom told me she loved me less because I'm adopted. Funny how that works. Silence on the other end. What are you talking about? Jake asked finally. You don't remember? Remember what? The kitchen, when I was 14. You were upstairs. Mom and I were fighting about something. She lost her temper and said, "This is why we could never love you the same way. You're adopted. You're not really ours. Deep down, you'll never really be part of this family." And Dad just looked away. Said nothing. More silence. I don't remember that, Jake said slowly. Of course you don't. You weren't there. And they never told you because it didn't matter to them. It was just something Mom said, just words. Except those words shaped my entire life from that moment on. Maybe you misheard. I didn't mishear anything. I remember every word. I've remembered it every day for 14 years. Every birthday where your gifts were bigger. Every Christmas where your stocking was fuller. Every achievement where their pride in you was louder than their acknowledgement of me. Come on, that's not... It is. And you know it is. You just don't want to admit it because it makes you complicit. Complicit? I didn't do anything. Exactly. You didn't do anything. You watched them treat me differently and you said nothing. You benefited from it and you said nothing. You got your college paid for while I worked 2 jobs. You got $150,000 for a business that failed. I got told they were stretched thin when I asked for help with tuition. You knew about all of this and you said nothing. I didn't know it was that bad. You didn't want to know. There's a difference. You saw what you wanted to see. Golden child. Favorite son. The real one. The biological one. The one they actually wanted. That's not fair. None of this is fair, Jake. That's the point. It was never fair. And I'm tired of pretending it was. He was quiet for a moment. I could hear him breathing, thinking. So this is revenge? He asked finally. You're punishing them? I'm not punishing them. I'm charging them the market rate rent, actually, below market rate. That's business. That's being a landlord. There's nothing personal about it. How can you say it's not personal? You bought their house specifically to invest in property. I saw a good opportunity. I took it. The fact that they're the tenants is just a coincidence. Malarkey. You did this to hurt them. No. If I wanted to hurt them, I'd charge them the actual market rate, which is $600 more than what they're paying now. If I wanted to hurt them, I'd evict them and find new tenants who'd pay more. But I'm not doing that. I'm being a fair landlord. They just don't like that I'm the one with power now. You're my brother. Am I? Because Mom and Dad don't seem to think so. Dad literally said, he's our son about you. Present tense, real, biological. And then he stopped. Because he realized what he was saying. That you're their son and I'm... What? The adopted one? The charity case? The one they took in when nobody else wanted me? Dad said that? Yeah. 3 days ago. On the phone. When I told them I was their landlord. He said I should be grateful for everything they did for me. That they took me in when nobody else wanted me. Like I owed them. Like I was a burden they graciously accepted. Jake didn't respond. This is who they are, I continued. This is who they've always been. And I'm done pretending otherwise. I'm done being less. I'm done being grateful for scraps. I'm done. So you're just done with the whole family? I'm done being treated like I don't matter. If that means I'm done with the family, then yeah, I guess I am. What about me? His voice was quieter now, almost hurt. What about you, Jake? Are we okay? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know. Are we? Because from where I'm sitting, you've been complicit in this my whole life. You saw how they treated me. You benefited from it. And you never once said anything. Never once stood up for me. Never once asked if I was okay. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. And that's almost worse. Because if you'd known and ignored it, at least that would be honest. But you chose not to see it. You chose to believe everything was fine. Because it was easier. Because it benefited you. That's not fair. Do you remember my birthday, Jake? Pause. Summer, right? April 12th. It's April 12th. You don't know your own brother's birthday. I'm bad with dates. Mom knows yours. Dad knows yours. They wished you happy birthday on Facebook last September, with a long post about how proud they are of you. They didn't post anything for mine. Didn't even remember it until 3 days later. And then it was just a text. Happy belated birthday. No call, no card, just a text. Silence. This is the family you're defending, I said. This is the dynamic you want me to accept. Where I'm always less. Always other. Always the one who doesn't quite belong. And you want me to what? Be grateful for it? Accept it? Keep smiling while they treat me like a burden? I don't want that. Then what do you want? Because right now you're calling me to defend them, to tell me I'm being cruel, to make me feel guilty for finally having boundaries. So what do you actually want, Jake? He didn't answer. That's what I thought. You want things to go back to how they were, where they treated me like crap and I just took it. Where they gave you everything and I got nothing and nobody talked about it. Where the family stayed together even though I was always on the outside. That's what you want, because it was comfortable for you. No, I'm done with this conversation. I'm done explaining myself. I'm done justifying my choices to people who never cared enough to ask about them in the first place. Tell mom and dad whatever you want. Tell them I'm cruel. Tell them I'm heartless. Tell them I'm punishing them. I don't care, because I'm finally free of caring what any of you think. Wait. I hung up. Blocked his number too. And then I sat there. In the silence. In my apartment. In the life I'd built without any of them. And I felt nothing. Not anger. Not sadness. Not guilt. Just nothing. A week later, a letter arrived. Hand-delivered to my apartment building. The doorman brought it up. Mom's handwriting on the envelope. I almost threw it away without opening it. But curiosity won again. Inside was a card. One of those generic thinking of you cards from the drugstore. And a letter. 3 pages. Handwritten. I read it. It was everything I expected. Apologies that weren't really apologies. I'm sorry you feel that way, instead of, I'm sorry I said that. Explanations that were really excuses. We were under a lot of stress, and we did the best we could. She talked about how hard it was to raise an adopted child, how they never knew if they were doing it right, how they worried I'd never feel like I belonged. But nowhere in the letter did she acknowledge what she'd actually said. The specific words. The specific hurt. It was 3 pages of deflection and self-pity. At the end, she wrote, "We love you. We've always loved you. Please forgive us and let's move past this. Family is forever." I folded the letter, put it back in the envelope, threw it away. Didn't respond. 2 weeks later, Dad tried calling from a different number. I didn't recognize it at first. Answered by accident. "Don't hang up," he said immediately. I almost did anyway. But I waited. "Your mother is a wreck. She's barely eating, barely sleeping. She's devastated by this situation." Okay. Okay? That's all you have to say? Your mother is suffering and you don't care? She told me she loved me less because I'm adopted. She said I'd never be part of the family. Those words caused me suffering for 14 years. She didn't care then. Why should I care now? She apologized. No, she didn't. She wrote a 3-page letter about how hard it was for her, about her feelings, about her stress. She never actually apologized for what she said. She apologized that I feel that way. That's not an apology. That's blame. You're splitting hairs. I'm not. There's a difference between I'm sorry I hurt you and I'm sorry you're hurt. One takes responsibility. One puts it back on me. She chose the second one because she doesn't actually think she did anything wrong. She was upset when she said those things. So was I. Every day for 14 years. Where was your concern for my suffering? Where was your concern when I was working 2 jobs to pay for college while you gave Jake $150,000? Where was your concern when I was the one barely eating, barely sleeping, trying to figure out why I wasn't good enough? No answer. You don't get to care now, I said. You don't get to suddenly be concerned about suffering when it's yours. You had 18 years to care about mine. You chose not to. So now I'm choosing not to care about yours. The rent is too high. The rent is below market. You can stay and pay it, or you can leave and find something else. Those are your options. And I'm done discussing it. We're your parents. You're my tenants. That's all. Sign the lease or don't. I don't care which. I hung up. Blocked that number too. On the 1st of the next month, the rent came through again. Full amount. They were staying. They were paying. And I was fine with it. Better than fine. Every month that payment hit my account. And every month I thought about 14-year-old me, standing in that kitchen, hearing those words. You'll never really be part of this family. They were right. I wasn't. But I didn't need to be anymore. I'd built my own life, my own success, my own family of friends and chosen relationships. And they needed me now. Needed my property. Needed my mercy. The power had shifted. And I was finally free. 6 months passed. Every month on the 1st, the rent appeared in my account. Like clockwork. Always the full amount. Never late. I never reached out. Never checked in. The property management company sent me reports. Everything was fine. No maintenance issues, no complaints, no problems. Just money. Every month. And every month I thought about that kitchen. About being 14. About those words. But the sting was gone now. Replaced by something else. Something calmer. Clearer. Freedom. My life thrived. I got promoted at work. Started dating someone who actually valued me. Made plans to buy another property. A real investment this time, not connected to family. I built a life that had nothing to do with them. And it felt good. Better than good. It felt right. Then November came. Thanksgiving was 3 weeks away. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. I almost deleted it. But I opened it. Hi, honey. This is Mom. I'm texting from a friend's phone since you blocked me. I wanted to invite you to Thanksgiving dinner. The whole family will be there. Jake really wants to see you. We miss you. Please come. It would mean so much. Love, Mom. I stared at the message. The whole family. Jake, Mom, Dad. Probably aunts and uncles who knew nothing about any of this. All sitting around a table, passing dishes, pretending everything was fine. And me. The adopted one. The one who could never be loved the same way. Expected to show up. Smile. Be grateful. Expected to pretend. I thought about it. Really thought about it. Part of me. A small part. The part that still remembered being a kid who just wanted to belong. Wanted to say yes. Wanted to believe things could be different. That they'd learned. That they'd changed. But they hadn't changed. The letter proved that. The phone calls proved that. They were sorry I was hurt, but not sorry they'd hurt me. There was a difference. I typed a response. Thank you for the invitation. I won't be attending. I have other plans. I hope you have a nice holiday. I hit send, then blocked that number too. 3 minutes later, another text. Different number. Jake. Seriously, you won't even come to Thanksgiving? Mom's trying. They're trying. Can't you just let it go? I replied. I have let it go. That's why I'm not coming. I've let go of hoping they'll change. Let go of needing their approval. Let go of being less. I'm not angry. I'm just done. Have a good Thanksgiving. Blocked. Another text came through. This time from a number I recognized. My cousin Amy. Hey, heard you might not come to Thanksgiving? Everything okay? Miss you. They were recruiting, using other family members to guilt me into showing up. I didn't respond, just muted the conversation. Thanksgiving came and went. I spent it with my girlfriend's family. They were warm, welcoming, asked me questions about my life, and actually listened to the answers. Nobody made jokes about me being adopted. Nobody compared me to anyone else. Nobody made me feel less. I belonged there more than I ever belonged at my parents' table. That weekend, I got an email from the property management company. Tenants have submitted a maintenance request. Furnace making strange noises. Have dispatched repair technician. Will update you on costs. I approved it. Replied to bill me for the repairs. That was part of being a landlord. Maintaining the property. The furnace repair cost $800. I paid it without hesitation, because this wasn't about making their lives difficult. It wasn't about revenge. It was just business. They were tenants. I was the landlord. The furnace broke. I fixed it. 2 days later, another email from the property manager. Tenants wanted me to pass along a thank you for the quick furnace repair. I didn't respond. There was nothing to say. Christmas approached. Another text from an unknown number. Mom again. We'd love to see you for Christmas. We could do gifts, have dinner, just family. Please consider it. I didn't respond this time, just blocked the number. On December 1st, the rent came through. As always. I looked at the transaction. Thought about them. Sitting in that house I owned. Writing the check or approving the transfer. Seeing my name on the account. Knowing exactly who their landlord was. I wondered if it bothered them. If they thought about it every month when they paid. If they remembered what Mom had said. What Dad hadn't said. I hoped they did. Not out of cruelty, but out of justice. Because for 18 years I'd thought about it. Every day. Every moment I felt less. Now they got to think about it too. Just once a month. When they paid their rent. It seemed fair. New Year came. I spent it with friends. People who chose me. People I chose back. At midnight, my phone buzzed. Text from Jake's girlfriend, Emma. Hey, I know things are complicated, but Jake misses you. He talks about you all the time. Is there any way you two could talk? Just the two of you? I thought about it. Jake and I hadn't been close in years, even before all this. We'd been brothers on paper, but not in reality. Different interests, different lives, different treatment. He'd never stood up for me, never questioned the favoritism, never asked if I was okay. But he was also a product of the same system I was. The golden child has their own kind of pressure, their own kind of prison, I typed back. If Jake wants to talk to me, he can reach out himself. Not through Mom, not through you, himself. If he's actually sorry, if he actually wants to fix things, he knows how to find me. I didn't hear from him, which told me everything I needed to know. February marked 1 year since I'd bought the house. 12 months of rent, 12 payments, 12 reminders. The property manager sent me an annual report. The tenants had been perfect. On-time payments, no issues, good care of the property. Would you like to renew their lease? The property manager asked. I thought about it. I could say no, could tell them to move out, could sell the property, could close this chapter completely. But I didn't want to. This wasn't about hurting them. It was about boundaries, about power, about finally being the one who decided. Renew the lease, I said. Same terms, same rent. No increase? The property manager asked. No increase. It's already fair. Because it was. I wasn't trying to gouge them, wasn't trying to make their lives impossible. I was just existing as their landlord, as someone who'd moved on. That was enough. April came. My birthday? April 12th. No text? No call? No card? Nothing from any of them. I didn't expect anything. But I noticed. My girlfriend threw me a surprise party. 20 friends showed up. People who knew my birthday. Who cared? Who wanted to celebrate me? I blew out candles on a cake, made a wish, opened presents. And I didn't think about my parents once. Progress. That night, lying in bed, I thought about 14-year-old me. That kid standing in the kitchen, hearing those words, watching Dad look away, feeling like his world had ended. If I could talk to him now, what would I say? I'd tell him it gets better, that he survives this, that he builds something beautiful despite them, not because of them. I'd tell him that one day he won't need their approval, won't need their love, won't need them at all. I'd tell him that one day he'll be the one with power, and he'll use it wisely, not cruelly, not vengefully, just firmly. I'd tell him that the family he needs isn't the one he was born into or adopted into. It's the one he builds himself. And I'd tell him that he'll be okay. Better than okay. Free. May brought the lease renewal in the mail, signed by both parents, returned to the property management company, another year committed. They were staying, still paying, still my tenants, and I was still free. I wasn't angry anymore, wasn't hurt anymore, wasn't hoping they'd change anymore. I was just living, building, thriving, without them. On June 1st, the rent came through. Month 15. I looked at the transaction, then closed the app. I didn't need to check it anymore, didn't need to see it, didn't need the reminder. I knew it was there. They knew I owned it. That was enough. The rest of my life stretched out ahead of me, full of possibility, full of people who valued me, full of choices I got to make, choices they couldn't influence, couldn't touch, couldn't diminish. I thought about that kitchen one more time, about Mom's words, about Dad's silence. You'll never really be part of this family. They were right. I wasn't part of their family. Not really. Not in the way that mattered. But I didn't need to be anymore. Because I'd found something better. Freedom, autonomy, self-worth. And they needed me now. Needed the roof I provided. Needed my decision to be fair. Needed my mercy. The power had shifted completely, and I was finally at peace with it. They'd loved me less, treated me as less, made me feel less. But I'd become more, despite them, because of them, in spite of them. And now? Now I was the one they paid rent to. The irony was perfect. The justice was quiet. The freedom was complete. Turns out, the one they loved less became the one they needed most. And I was okay with that. More than okay. I was free.